Hello students, have you ever thought how the weather app guesses the rain chances or how the cricket score averages are calculated? It's all data handling. So before we begin, hit on the subscribe button so you don't miss any easy math hack, and in order to join our live classes, do check out the link in the description. So let's begin our day number 21 challenge, which is data handling. And if you're doing this challenge continuously for 21 days, that means you are really a champion. Doing anything for continuously 21 days is not an easy task. And if you have done that, great kudos, you are the real champion. So let's begin by understanding what are data handling. What is the meaning of data handling? It is nothing but collecting, organizing, and understanding the data. It can be a grouped data or a raw data, or it can be finding the mean, median, mode, or using the bar graph or the pie chart, and so on. Basically, what we do in data handling, we collect the data, organize it, and we understand for our better knowledge. So that is data handling. So where it is used in real life, as I told you already, in sports statistics or election polls predicting who will win the election, or weather reports, business sales, everything uses data handling in order to get a better understanding of what has happened or what will happen, right? Now, the data that you collect can be in the form of a raw data as it is, like the data that has been collected as it is nothing but your raw data, and grouped data is nothing but you're arranging it with respect to its frequency, how many times it is occurring. We are classifying or organizing the data in the form of groups, that is grouped data. There are two types of data. Now coming to the quantitative data, how we get the data is in the form of three categories. First is the individual series, which is nothing but we collect the data individually. Say for example, heights of 6 students, 120, 126, 132, 138, 142, like this. The second type can be of discrete series. What is the meaning of it? It happens with a frequency. The number of computers in 12 families of a locality, one in one family, two in one family, other three, and the data can be repeating, like two families had two computers. So this is nothing but a data with a certain frequency, that is discrete series. The third one is the continuous series, where the data contains large number of observations. So we put them under groups, under many different groups with a class interval, such as 1 to 2 will be taken as the first interval. Whichever lies between 11 to 20 will be the second interval, and so on. This type of data is called as continuous series. In this continuous series, you further need to understand one more thing, which are the basic terms. The first one is the class limit. Say for example, if you have the interval, this is called as class interval. The group, the data that you have collected is organized in groups in the condensed form. That is nothing but this class interval. Say for example, all the data that lies between 1 to 10 will be classified in the interval 1-10, right? So this one is called the lower limit and this 10 is called the upper limit. These are called as the class limits, lower limit, upper limit. As I told you already, 1 to 10 itself is the class interval because the group is condensed within this interval. And the third is the class boundaries. What is meant by boundary? It is the true lower limit or the true upper limit. What do I mean by that? There are two types of forms of data. One is the inclusive form, other one is the exclusive form. Inclusive form, as you can see in this table, 1 to 10 is one interval. The next interval starts from 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40. It is not continuous. There is a break between 10 and 11, 20 and 21. We have to convert this to exclusive form. What is the meaning of that? we have to make them continuous, like 0.5 to 10.5, 10.5 to 20.5, 20.5 to 30.5. So this is continuous, exclusive form. And how we do that? We have to simply find the difference between the upper limit of a class interval and the lower limit of the next class interval. In this, the upper limit of the class interval is the 10. So we will be taking 10 and we will be taking 11, lower limit of the second interval. So the difference between it is 11 minus 10 divided by 2, which is nothing but 1 by 2, which is nothing but 0.5. So then we have to subtract the 0.5 from the lower interval and add 0.5 to the upper interval so that the interval does not change. So now you get a continuous form. So 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5 to 10.5. Again 11 minus 0.5, 10.5 to 20.5. In this way, you make the data, grouped data, from inclusive form to the exclusive form, making it as continuous, right? So this is a very basic thing that you have to understand when coming to the continuous series. And one more thing that you need to know is the class size, the size of the class, which is nothing but 1 to 10 is your class interval. The difference between the true upper limit and the true lower limit. Say for example, we have converted this in the previous example to 0.5 to 10.5. So the difference between the true means exclusive form. 10.5 minus 0.5, the class sizes in the above example, it is 10. And if you want to find the class mark or the mid value, then it is just taking the average. Upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2 gives you the class mark. Right? Note down all this in your notebook and refer it without fail during your exams. Okay. Now coming to the different types of graphs. The statistical graphs are divided into 3 types: bar graph, pie chart, and histograms. So in this lesson, we are going to study in detail about these 3 types of graphs. The first one is the bar graph. What is the bar graph? This bar graph is used to represent the unclassified frequency distribution. What is meant by the unclassified frequency? They are not formed in the form of groups like the class intervals. You don't have such things. So it is unclassified basically. The frequency of a variable is represented by a bar, which is nothing but a rectangle like this on the graph, whose length or the height is equal or proportional to your frequency, how many times it happens. The breadth of the bar is arbitrary, and the breadth of all the bars are equal. One bar cannot be like this and the next bar cannot be too thin like this. Okay, every bar is of equal width, arbitrary. Okay, and uniform spaces should be left between the 2 consecutive bars, and this space also uniform, and the space between the 2 bars is also uniform. And all bars should rest on the same line called the base. The x-axis is nothing but your base. If you are drawing a bar graph like this, then y-axis will be the base. Clear? So let's see an example here. Represent the following frequency distribution by a bar graph. So we already know that this is the base, x-axis is your base, y-axis is your vertical axis. Now, every bar graph should have a title. So here we can say title can be frequency of a variable. Maybe the title. And scale you have to mention. That is next important thing. What you are putting on the x-axis and what you are giving on the y-axis. X-axis is the variable, value of the variable. And y-axis is your frequency. We are going to put the frequency on the y-axis. So variable 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and the frequency you can, since it's everything is within 10 only, you can take it as from 1 only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So since only till 8, we will take till 8. For 2, the frequency is 5. So here I'm just drawing a rough graph, but you can use your scale and pencil to draw it neatly. 4 is 8 times. So it is, should be of equal width, and the space between the each rectangle should be of same width. And 6 is 4. So this is your 6. And then 8 is 2. This is a small one. And 10 is 7. Okay. Now we have organized the entire data in the form of bar graph, which is easy for us to understand, right? Now, based on this, they may ask you questions and you have to solve them. So, let's represent the same graph in another different way. That is, frequency on your x-axis and the variable on your y-axis. But anyhow, your frequency is nothing but the height of the bar. Okay, make sure you give the data accordingly and draw the graph accordingly, right? So this is what we have drawn. This same vertical bar graph can be represented with the help of horizontal bar graph also, like this, right? Now, coming to the next type, which is your pie chart. Pie chart or pie graph. Here we use a circle that is divided into various sectors in proportion to the various components that are available for us. So what do you need to do? There are a few steps that you have to follow. Take the total value of all the items equal to 360 degrees. The entire, when you sum up all the data, the total items, then it has to add up to 360 degrees. Convert each component of the data into degrees. Everything you have to, because each data has to occupy a certain portion in the circle. So you need to know the angle in order to construct a pie chart. So you mark the angle there using this formula. Degree of any component is the component value divided by the total value times your 360. Then draw a circle with appropriate radius and mark the angles at the center of the circle and draw the sector. So let's take this example. A person spends his time daily as shown below. So let's see how we can find the angle from it. So divided by the total, as I told you already, divided by the total. So 9 by the total is 10, 15, 15 plus 7, 22, 24. So the total is 24. Now what is the formula? The degree of this office work. Maybe I put it as office work equals to 9 by 24 times 360 degrees. So cancel out these 3 times, 8 times, and then again 1 time, 4 times, 5 times. So that gives you 135 degrees. So you need to construct a circle of appropriate radius, and from the center take 135 degrees, which will be almost like this. And this entire space will be nothing but your office work. Clear? Now similar way you have to take the next one. Exercise 1 by 24 times 360 degrees. So solve this, whatever you get the angle as, take this as 0 now. From this you again mark the angle, corresponding angle, and then mark this as exercise, but with a different symbol. Maybe you can cross out like this. And when you draw, what are the things essential here? Title of the pie chart, how much percentage it is, right? And because your pie chart will not contain the angle, it will contain only the percentage. You have to put the office work in terms of percentage. How do you find the percentage? 9 by 24 times 100. A fraction multiplied by 100 gives you the percentage. So give the percentage, give the title, and you have to give the scale here. Okay, if I mark like this, then it is office work. If I mark something like this, and then it is exercise. This scale is important. Title, scale, how much percentage, and the circle, the pie chart itself. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. Similar way we have to do for everything and fill our pie chart. Right? Now coming to the next one, which is histograms. Histograms are another important topic because this is a grouped data, whereas the bar graph and the pie chart are not the grouped data. Here the histograms works on the classified or grouped data. Right? Now, if the class intervals are discontinuous, in your question, then you have to change into continuous, like the exclusive form, before you draw the histogram. And another thing you need to note here is bar graphs use rectangles. However, it is working on the unclassified frequency distribution, whereas your histograms are working on the classified frequency distribution, which means it is a continuous data. So your graph will be this is a class interval. The breadth of the rectangle in the bar graph are arbitrary, right? We just mentioned equal width for every rectangle, whereas in histogram, the width of the rectangle or the breadth of the rectangle is determined by its class size, right? So this is continuous. So two rectangles will share the common side. So this is histogram, right? And let's see how we do it with an example. Here the class interval is 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 42. So it is a continuous, which means exclusive form. So we can directly draw the histogram. Here if you see the histogram, the frequency is given, which is, this is 5. So the frequency with respect to 20 to 30 is the height of 5. And the next one, 30 to 40, 8, then 40 to 50 is 3, then 50 to 60 is again 7, and then 4 for 60 to 70. So this is the histogram. Based on this graph, you may again get questions which you can solve it, right? Then the next topic is the most important one, which you will get it quite often in other topics also, okay, which is your arithmetic mean, or simply called as mean. Mean is nothing but your average. Okay, so how do we calculate it? Sum of all the observations divided by total number of observations. Sum divided by total. In exams, sometimes they will give you the sum directly and they will ask you to find the average. Or sometimes they will give you the average. Instead of giving you the direct sum, they will give you 4 numbers and fifth number they will keep it as x and divided by 5 numbers. Find this x. This is another type of question. Make sure you try both these type of problems. One is finding the average, very simple, direct one. Another one of the numbers will be missing. So if you have to find the sum first by multiplying average and total and then get the sum, and from the sum find your x. Clear? Next important topic is your median. Median is nothing but the middle value after you arrange the data in the ascending order or the descending order. But how do you find the middle value? If the number of observation is odd, then you have to just do n plus 1 by 2. Say for example, if the number of data available for you is 5, then plus 1, which is nothing but your 6. 6 by 2, then 3 will be your middle value. Suppose if the number of observation is even, then the median is simply n by 2 and n by 2 plus 1. So n by 2, suppose the data is 10, number of data is 10, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Then the fifth data and the sixth data will be your middle one. You have to take the average between these two. Clear with the median? Right? Now, what is the mode? Mode is the easiest of all. The most frequent value is nothing but your mode. So to put it in a simple way, mean is nothing but your average. Median, remember it as middle value. And mode is your most frequent. Mode, most. Mid, middle, median, middle. Mean is nothing but your average. Okay, this is a hint or a simple trick for you to remember it without forget. Okay, mean, average, median, middle, mode, most frequent, more. Clear? Now, Let's see a problem based on this. Find the mean, median, mode of these numbers. The first one, let's arrange it in the ascending order. So 0, then your 1 appearing 3 times. So we'll cancel out so that you don't miss any number. Then comes your 2, 3 times, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So let's strike out 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 3 appears only 1 time. Then 4 appears 1 time. 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. So 5, 5 and 5. Then 6, no 6 and directly 2, 7. Right? So we have arranged the data in your ascending order. So first find the mean. Mean, as we all know, as sum it up. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. And 4 times 2 is 8. Then again a 3 plus 4. And 3 times of 5 is 50. Then 14 again. So sum it up, what do you get? 6, 10, 20, 30, 40, 47. Divided by how many data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15. So when you take the average, it's 3.13 and goes on. So we'll stop here. So 3.13 is your mean. Now coming to your median. Median is nothing but your middle value. Median means here the number is odd. 15 is an odd number. So go for the first condition. 15 plus 1 by 2, which is 16 by 2, which means the 8th number will be the median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is your median. Median is nothing but your 2. Add the mode. Mode is the most frequent one. As you all can see, 2 is appearing 4 times, which is the maximum. So 2 is again the mode. So mode is 2, median is 2, and mean is 3.13. Simple, right? So now let's go to another important thing that you have to know in mean, median, mode. For a moderately symmetric data, symmetric means like the data. For a moderately symmetric data, the 3 measures of the central tendency. What is central tendency? This mode, mean, median is nothing but your central tendency. Can be related by the formula. Mode is usually equal to 3 times of your median minus 2 times of your mean. So let's see a problem based on this. Find the mode of a data if median is 12, mean is 16. So we know that mode is, as per this formula, 3 times median minus 2 times mean. So 3 times median minus 2 times your mean. So substitute the value 3 times 12 minus 2 times your mean, which is 16. As per the board mass concept, 3 times 12 is 36 minus 2 times 16 is 32. So mode is directly 4. That's your answer. So this type of problems you may get it in the competitive exam. So make sure you write this formula in your notebook and try to remember it during the exam. Now comes the challenge for you. Challenge number 21, the last challenge of our series. Problem number 1, if mean is 24, median is 26, find the mode. Just now we did a problem on that, so you can do it obviously. Second problem, a bar graph is drawn to the scale 1 centimeter equals to 250 units. The length of the bar representing a quantity of 300 units will be how much? Problem number 3. This is only about the scale. Very simple problem, right? Third one is find the mean and median alone for the following data. Again, simple, direct formula. Now the fourth one, in histograms, the width of the bars is determined by the class size. I already told you in the lesson as well. Hope you remember it, right? Answer this whether it is true or false. Simple. And the final one is the Mean of 5, 7, 8, 10 and 2x is x. Then find the value of x alone. There are 4 choices for you to select. Very simple. Use the formula of mean. You get the answer. Clear? Hope you enjoyed this lesson. Data handling is a very easy topic if you master the formulas and you understand how the data are categorized. If you like this lesson, click on the like button and do share it with a friend who really struggles with data handling. See you again in our next lesson with the answers of these questions. Bye bye.